guys, welcome back. We're back here with another video, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how to find that perfect sweet spot. I can't even speak. That perfect sweet spot when it comes to exhaust for your Honda Civic. Now, usually I would say I'm mostly going to refer to my car, but I can use my car as a template. But this also goes for normal Civics. You could have an 8th, a 9th, 10th, or 11th gen. The same principle applies. So what basically not to do, what a lot of people do when they first get their Honda Civic, they're sort of into cars, they want to start modifying. They're like, you know, what could I do that's actually worthwhile? And they think, okay, exhaust systems. And then they go and they look at the exhaust systems, and then they're hella expensive. And then just like, you know what? I just want to chop this exhaust off. It's going to be a little bit louder, and I'm going to be happy with that. And I'm here to tell you, please don't do that. That's like one of the worst things you can probably do to this car, because this car already has such a bad... What the hell was that? This car already has a bad rep when it comes to modifications, because naturally it's an entry-level enthusiast car. So this kind of... you're gonna invite the whole crowd of people. So people who are just now coming into cars, they're starting to modify it, they're starting to work on their cars themselves, which this is a pretty good platform. The Honda Civic's not really that hard of a car to work on. Even the later models, they might have more computer controls, but it's a far better than, you know, some of the other competitors from like Germany and other countries. But going back to the video, let me just make this left turn here. A lot of these people just want to chop off their exhaust. They just want to do it cheap and quick, get a loud sound from their car, and they'll be done with it. There's another Ace Gen SI right there. You put a Type R badge on it. Come on, dude. You can't be an SI and a Type R at the same time. Oh, there's a 10 Gen SI. Looks like they're all out today. Should go a little closer here. Oh yeah. He probably does notice me. Yeah, of course he did. Any car or any exhaust system that you chop up, it's not going to sound good. And Honda Civic already gets a pretty bad rep when it comes to exhaust modifications, and you're just going to be adding to that statistic. So if you don't want to be a racer, this is definitely the video for you. So my car, I do have a full exhaust, so I guess I do have a pretty good understanding of like how these cars sound. I've heard multiple exhaust setups. Yes, this even includes the ones that are just pretty heinous, and you guys know which ones I'm talking about. So I guess we can get started. So if you don't want to do anything crazy, like if you just want a nice sounding exhaust, this is actually pretty simple. You can't go wrong with the Catback exhaust. My recommendation, if you don't really want to go too crazy with the car, you just want a nice sound, but you already love the car, you love how it's stock. These cars are pretty slow, but they handle really well. It has a limited slip diff, and it just adds a little more personality to a rather boring front-wheel drive cars. But the cool thing about it, it doesn't drive like a boring front-wheel drive car. But I'm just saying, if you don't want to go too crazy with the mods, you can't go wrong with a Yonaka Catback exhaust. Now this is if you're not planning to modify the headers of the car. You're not going to modify the stock catalytic converter because you probably have emissions in your area. Luckily I don't, but some areas do have emissions testing, and they gotta keep all their emissions equipment in working order, or else their car can't pass the inspection. And that's very important to some people, and especially if you're daily driving your car, you don't want any headaches. You just want it to be turnkey. If you gotta get it inspected, you just want it all to be smooth sailing. The Yonaka Catback exhaust, if you don't want to do anything, provides actually a pretty nice sound, a very nice looking muffler. It resembles the stock kind of look, but with larger diameter piping, which means you get a louder sound, and it's actually pretty decent quality. I do remember when I'm not sure how old they are, but I do remember, well, I could say maybe, I would say they're almost 20 years. I don't want, someone can correct me that in the comments, but I don't think they're that old. I had one of their exhaust systems on my EM1 Civic SIR, and it probably hands down was downside is you can put a header on it, but it's not going to sound as good. I've personally heard it doesn't matter what headers, you can get Yonaka headers and get any other kind of headers, it just doesn't sound that great with that exhaust. That exhaust is only for mild modification, so that would be a pretty mild modification. And if you want to hear even more sound, you can go around with a K&N drop-in filter or the K&N intake, but again, you're only limited to these kind of intakes because you don't have to modify the computer for the car to operate normally. Some people say it's slower, there's like a whole debate, we're not going to get into that, but you're just in it for the sound. So if you want to go a little bit more in depth, unfortunately, if you do have headers on the car, you will get a check engine light, because if you don't plan on touching the ECU, you will get a check engine light because it's a different piece of hardware. And some people like to do straight pipes on stock tunes. You will throw a code unless you have Honda. I'm just saying, it's kind of a no-brainer at this point, but going on to the next step, this is tier 2. So I could say I'm sort of in this tier, and also the third one as well, which I would say later on in this video. So this is going with almost a full exhaust setup. Now you're wondering, how can a full exhaust setup be good on a daily drive? Like, you think this is a 4-cylinder, it doesn't really sound all that great, you know, from the outside. You know, of course the VTEC crossover, it sounds really good, but it doesn't sound that good to other people. So a lot of people will decide against it, and fair play to them, but there are combinations that are pretty good. We're gonna start off with the combination I have in my car. I have a pretty unusual setup that not many people run, like a certain part of the header. I run a 1320 performance header on this car. It is a race header, and I have it goes out to a full race 3-inch exhaust. And the only thing that had to be done was I had to get a custom flex pipe welded in by a really good person who knows what they're doing. They're really passionate about Hondas, and it came out great. The quality was really, really good, and I'm very surprised how it turned out. Now, when it comes to road noise, you will hear the exhaust, but it's not as intrusive as you might think it would be. Like right now, it's not that bad. When I'm in the lower gears, it's pretty quiet. We're at 2,000 RPM. We're going about 50 kilometers. We're just daily driving, and I can have a conversation with you. Now, do note, when you do run this setup, it is highly recommended that you run a tuning solution on your car to just ensure that your car is running properly. I know it costs a little bit more money, but trust me, it's going to be a lot better in the long run. Having a car that runs right will last you a lot longer, because a lot of people, I be seeing people be sharing tunes, and that's another thing too. When people share tunes, listen, tunes are very specific to the car. They're made for that specific car. You know, the tuner has measured everything specifically to that car, so it's going to be running for that. Even with the same mods, it's going to run for that car much better than it would on your own car, because you just basically copied a tune. And yeah, it will be more expensive, but you do get more reliability if you do it the right way the first time. And that's Honda. Honda is supposed to be reliable, right? So if you are going with the exhaust setup similar to this, it does require a tune. And the best part of it, you get a little bit more mid-range with the header. Gives you that mid-range, which was quite lacking in the stock tune. And yeah, and this applies to any of the generation of Civics, mainly the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, and even the 11th. For the turbocharged versions, that's just pretty much a downpipe. You will notice a difference with the downpipe, trust me. A lot of people say it wakes the car up. It was the same case for this car. The header wakes it up. Now, there are different headers you can choose. If you are a little bit more budget conscious, there is a brand called PLM. I'm not sure if they're still around. If they are, I'll place a picture of it here along with the prices, so you guys can average out how much it's going to cost. That's a good budget option. You have the 1320, which I have on my car right now. And then you have the tried and true Skunk 2 Alpha, which is the most popular header, and it's been proven to make the most power. And it actually, if you do pair it with a full race exhaust, it sounds really good. There's tons and tons of videos of that combo, and you can't go wrong with it. It's tried and true, has really good quality and stuff like that. Now, I should have said this. I should have said this in the beginning, but when you do put an aftermarket header on, especially the 8th generation Civic, it does require you to install the rear motor mount. You need a little bit more of a stiffer one, because the header, when you're moving, the header will have a tendency to hit the firewall. This is under acceleration, and that can cause the header to crack. So it is very highly recommended that you upgrade your rear motor mount. You can do 62A, 70A. I don't recommend going higher than 70A. I have it in this car because for daily driving, it's just way too harsh, and it's gonna get uncomfortable real quick. You listen to loud music, you got good bass going, vibrating ears. It's just way too much, man. And for the last tier, this is like full send. It's sort of the same thing, but straight pipe. Yes, you can have a straight pipe Honda and not be an obnoxious person on the streets. It is possible. I don't know how people screw it up, but it is possible. And also, you can't go wrong with full custom exhaust. I've seen a full vibrant custom exhaust. It sounds pretty good. But the main point is, if you get a decent exhaust system for the car, it will work out for you. When it comes to the exhaust now, there are a couple ones that I would stay away from. Number one would be Skunk 2 anything. Not to bash Skunk 2, this is just my own personal thing. I just don't think fart cannons look appealing on this platform. I don't think it goes well, and nah, it just doesn't look good. And besides, with street mufflers do come in 3 inches now, so it's not like you're gonna lose any power. You're gonna sound better, you're gonna get more street cred, and all these normies are not gonna scoff at you, be like, look at this dude in his cheap ass Civic with his muffler. So when it comes to exhaust systems, I do have a few. I've already mentioned in tier 1, the Yonaka is really good, but if you want to do a little bit more modifications, or if you know you're going to do some more modifications down the line, one exhaust, it is a little bit on the expensive side, but I recommend it to most Hondas, is the full race Catback exhaust. It is a sort of a street muffler. It's very mature, it's very elegant looking, and it suits the character of the car. And you can't go wrong with it. It's quiet when it needs to be, and it's loud when it needs to be. You get pretty much the best of both worlds, which kind of seems impossible when it comes to Hondas, because you do all this research and your brain just gets really confused, and then you're just like, they all sound like shit, so I'm just gonna keep my car stock. But there are formulas you could follow. Another thing I see people doing is not tuning the car. I think I've mentioned this a little bit earlier on in the video. I'm going to get a little more into this. Trust me, you will love your car even more when you get a tune for it. You're tuning for your header and your exhaust, and those are actually proven to produce a lot of power, upwards of 30 horsepower. It's actually a pretty nice day here. It's actually one of the nicest days that we've had in a long time. I am actually not wearing a jacket, so that's like pretty surprising. And usually during the cold here, not the cold, usually during sunset and when it gets dark, it's usually freezing, but it's pretty good weather out. If you don't really care about power, if you care about looks more, I forget what it's called. NVIDIA creates it, but it's sort of like a street style Catback. It's a 2.5 inch instead of, I'll put it on screen here because I forgot the name. Now to the other part of the video, Catless or Catted. I think this should just be a very simple thing. You don't have to overthink it. Listen, if you don't like the smell and you have emissions testing, if you have emissions to pass your inspection, go ahead and do it. So Another thing to talk about is catted versus catless and the horsepower difference. I don't think there's much power between the two, so you can definitely say keep your cats on. They do offer high flow cats, but this is just all your preference. That I am catless right now. There is a little bit of a smell, but once the car warms up, there's not much smell coming through the cabin, which is pretty good. But again, if you require emissions and all that stuff, you just don't want to deal with it. Some of these headers come with high flow cats. I'm not sure if all of them do, but the 1321 that I have came with an additional high flow cat, and yeah, it's been great, pretty honest, that I have that option to put it back on. So this is how to prove that you can be straight piped and not be a total like ear rape, which is like every straight pipe video that you watch, it's like you're getting raped in your ear. Look at this guy. Oh boy. But yeah, every video that you watch straight pipe, there are some cars that do sound good straight pipe. Like there's some V8s that are straight pipe, they sound pretty good, but 4 cylinders not really, but depending on the setup. Is that an Integra? It's like, oh yeah, it is an Integra. Wish we could have a little bit of fun today, but we are in traffic, so, and it's literally, this is probably one of my favorite roads here. If these cars weren't here, you guys would have gotten a pretty nice show. I don't know, maybe not, we'll see what happens. So I hope this video helps you guys out just a little bit on when it comes to picking your exhaust system out for your Honda.